Hi, everyone. My name is Rochelle Smallwood. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I am the owner of Providential Care Center for Mental Wellness. This is a presentation geared towards schools to let you know a little bit about the services that I can offer your students. Our mission here at Providential Care is to promote mental healing, foster relationships, and promote mental health awareness. Our other mission is to help individuals change, grow, and flourish despite their circumstances. So a little bit about me. As I mentioned, I'm the owner and the operator of Providential Care Center for Mental Wellness. I have experience in providing outpatient therapy to children, adolescents, and adults. A couple of the things that I'm trained in SPARCS, known as structural psychotherapy for adolescents responding to chronic stress. I'm trained in Triple P, and I'm currently in training for trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. So some of the services that I offer group services, self-esteem groups, SPARCS, and Triple P are all group services. I offer individual therapy for children and teens. This is trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. And I also offer clinical supervision for those who want to become licensed clinical social workers. So, Providential Care Center for Mental Wellness serves children and adolescents. The target age group that we serve is 5 through 18. Providential Care provides Triple P discussion groups to parents of children. The individual therapy that I offer is trauma-focused CBT. So TFCBT is a trauma-focused intervention for youth ages 3 to 18, and they're non-offending caregiver. So it's appropriate for youth who are experiencing symptoms directly related to the traumatic event. The average length of treatment is 8 to 25 sessions weekly. These sessions can range from 60 to 90 minutes. It targets post-traumatic stress, depression, and several behavioral symptoms. This treatment has maximum benefits, but the primary caregiver is actively involved in the treatment. So one of the programs that I'm very excited about is the Lost and Found Self-Esteem Group. This self-esteem group is one that I created based off of my children's book and my workbook based off of the children's book. So to give you a little bit of background on Lost and Found, it's a children's book I wrote when I was in seminar class in graduate school. It was a creative project that I was asked to do to reflect my life's journey. I published Lost and Found, Journey to Self-Discovery in 2013. And in 2019, I developed and published a workbook based off of the children's book. The workbook is Lost and Found Self-Esteem Workbook. And last year, I used my workbook to create a Lost and Found Self-Esteem group. So what is Lost and Found? This is a quick review of the storybook. Lost and Found is a story of a girl who goes on a symbolic journey to discover who she is. While on her journey, she realizes that there are things that she has been carrying around that are weighing her down. While on her journey, she also finds treasure. She discovers that these treasures are essential to her journey to finding herself. So what is Lost and Found? This is a review of the workbook. So of course I mentioned that it is based on the storybook. In the workbook, the main character of the storybook has entered adolescence. The workbook is a workbook that addresses self-esteem, teaches healthy coping skills, explores thinking patterns, and uses many cognitive behavioral therapy concepts. The workbook is divided into 9 different sections. So these sections are learning yourself, observing your internal luggage, sorting through your baggage, tracking your journey, focusing on what you need, offering help to others, unlocking your treasures, narrating your journey, and destination discovery. The program that I developed is based off of the workbook. It focuses on building self-awareness, strengthening coping skills, and enhancing self-worth and self-love. Lost and Found Self-Esteem Group is the perfect group for young females who are struggling with their self-image and identity. This group will help to guide teens on the road to self-discovery. The Lost and Found Self-Esteem Group is 9 sessions. It's based on the curriculum that's in the workbook. This group is geared towards teen girls and helping them develop a healthy self-image and positive self-esteem. The session ranges anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. Most of them are an hour, but there is one session in there that is a little bit longer, and it's 2 hours for all the material that I have to fit into that session. This is for ages 12 to 17. And this helps with building self-esteem, challenging self-defeating thoughts, increasing self-worth, developing healthy coping skills, and setting effective goals. So why is self-esteem important? I've done some research on the benefits of self-esteem and the consequences when a person has low self-esteem. So research indicates that poor self-esteem has been linked to self-destructive behaviors, increased dropout rate, increased teen pregnancy, substance use, mental health issues, physical health issues, and future limitations such as unemployment, financial strain, lack of education, and involvement in criminal activity. So a lot of the behaviors that are disruptive in school, they can be linked to self-esteem, and this group can help alleviate that. How can Lost and Found help? Lost and Found will foster a sense of social connectedness. It will increase socialization. It will teach healthy coping skills, and it will teach teens to identify and challenge negative thinking patterns. Who is appropriate for Lost and Found Self-Esteem Group? So as I mentioned, it serves 12 to 17 females, willing participants. So people who are motivated to participate in therapy. So in other words, you don't want to drag anyone kicking and screaming to therapy. It's going to be less effective if a person does not want to go, because it requires an investment from both parties. Individuals who meet criteria of the measurement tools or have had a previous mental health diagnosis will also qualify for this group. So how are group participants screened? So group participants are screened utilizing 3 different screening tools. So one is the Patient Health Questionnaire for Adolescents, also known as a PHQA, the Rosenberg Self-Esteem Tool, and the Generalized Anxiety Disorder Screening Tool. Okay. So those are some samples of the screening tools that will be used. So let's talk a little bit about SPARCS. SPARCS is, once again, structured psychotherapy for adolescents responding to chronic stress. SPARCS is a program that is 16 sessions, and it was specifically created for teens who have been traumatized. Sessions are 1 hour. It's for ages 12 to 18, could be male and female. It helps with regulating emotions and impulses, somatization and physical health, attention and information processing, self-perception, relationships, and sense of meaning and purpose in life. What is SPARCS? SPARCS is an evidence-based practice for adolescents who have experienced trauma and chronic stress. It's 16 sessions long. It lasts for 1 hour. It includes DBT and CBT. It focuses on emotional regulation, self-perception, attention and information, sense of meaning, physical health, and relationships. Who can benefit from SPARCS? Adolescents between ages 12 to 21. Even though I'm only serving 12 to 18, it can be also used with 21-year-olds. adolescents with ongoing stressors in their life, adolescents who have experienced traumatic experiences, and adolescents who demonstrate difficulty functioning in everyday life. Some of the core skills taught in SPARCS, it's a skill called Let 'em Go that teaches adolescents how to problem solve and create meaning from the things that are causing them problems. Make a Link teaches them communication and making a connection with another person. Distress tolerance, coping more effectively in the moment, so using healthy coping skills. And mindfulness, cultivating awareness and being in the here and now. What are the measurement tools used for SPARCS? So for SPARCS, we use something called the Trauma Screening Questionnaire. We use the UCLA PTSD. We use the Youth Outcome Questionnaire, and we use the Strength and Difficulties Questionnaire. So what is the impact of trauma on learning and behavior? So research indicates that trauma in children is displayed as irritability, misbehavior in school, difficulty concentrating, hyperactivity, and poor impulse control. So all of the behaviors that could be disruptive to the learning process. Children who have been physically abused have been found to engage in less intimate peer relationships and tend to be more aggressive and negative in peer interactions. So if a kid is getting in a lot of fights, doing a lot of bullying is a major problem in your school, SPARCS might be a good fit for your school. Children who have experienced trauma may find it more challenging than their peers to pay attention and process new information. So a lot of children are getting diagnosed with ADHD. A very good assessment and some screening tools, you might be able to see that there's some trauma there that's also impacting your ability to focus. Children who have been exposed to violence often have difficulty responding to social cues and may withdraw from others socially or bully others. So we talked about bullying, we talked about getting into frequent fights. Students who have experienced trauma may feel authority figures have failed to protect them in the past, and they might be distrustful of teachers. So if you have some students and you're having difficulty making a connection with them, or they don't trust adults, or they may seem defiant, SPARCS could benefit them. Evidence suggests that some of these children develop sensory processing difficulties, which can contribute to problems with writing and reading. Okay. So all of the trauma symptoms affect a child's ability to learn. And so this is why school is a great place to offer something like SPARCS to help with those symptoms. The impact of trauma on learning and behavior. These are some more researched stats. When a child has experienced trauma, they are stuck in survival mode. Their attention and energy is focused on a danger that no longer exists. This makes it difficult to learn and to concentrate. When we think about all that we have experienced in 2020 and what we're continuing to experience as far as the pandemic, we have all experienced a global trauma. Children have had to adjust to a new way of learning in a new environment, a virtual environment. Also with having family members around them affected by COVID, whether financially or physically. So we have all lived through a global trauma, which is why it's going to be even more important to the learning environment to implement something such as SPARCS to help with those symptoms and to help them get over the trauma that they have experienced. Research indicates that maltreated children are more likely than their peers to be retained, have irregular attendance, and be placed in special education classes. Teachers' rules and consequences may be viewed as punishment by children who have experienced trauma, increasing potential for re-traumatization. This may increase with the likelihood that these children will be subject to school discipline on a repeated basis. So if you have what you call repeat offenders, people who are always in detention, people who are always in the principal's office, It may be further evaluation required to see what these children have experienced outside of the school walls and if they would qualify for some other services. So when I did my first cycle of SPARCS, my very first time doing SPARCS, I had an excellent group, and these are some of their testimonials. So in 2017, one of the SPARCS participants says, "Miss Rochelle, practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes progress." So in trying to learn the skills, this was one of the affirmations that this child repeated to themselves, that they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to get it all right. All they have to do is show progress. And that's one of the things that Sparks teaches as well as being in the here and now. No judgment, because with judging yourself for past mistakes, that only brings in more overwhelming emotions. And so this child expressed that, I think, beautifully by saying, "Practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes progress." The same child says, with Sparks, they teach us through scenarios. They let us figure it out and show us instead of telling us, "You need to do this." So children don't want to feel like someone is talking at them. They want to feel like they can make the decision themselves. So in Sparks, we teach them the skills and we help them practice the skills to improve upon those skills through scenarios. Okay. Another child said that Sparks has taught me about wise mind, emotional mind, and rational mind. So if you are making a referral, these are some of the payment methods for individuals. They can choose a self-pay option, and some of the accepted insurances that we have are Medicos, Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Cigna. Okay. For the referral process, in order to refer an individual for services, you'll complete my online referral form or the PDF version of the referral form, email or fax the form to me. Once the form has been received, I will follow up with the referrals and schedule initial consultation or intake. One thing that I would like to add, if you are looking to contract me into your school, it is a different process. If you want to reach out to me through my email or through by phone, we could talk about the process to have me into your school, because that is a different process. Okay. And this is my contact information. I have provided my email, two phone numbers, my mobile business phone, my office phone, and my website. And you can also follow my social media pages for more updates about services. Thank you so much for your time and your patience, and I look forward to partnering with you and your students. Thank you.